Well, I had Christie on Mediabuzz on Sunday, and we had a series of spirited exchanges. Media now finally saying that Christie, who had been way down in the polls, having a bit of a comeback in the wake of the Paris attacks, and he talks about 9/11, and he got the endorsement in New Hampshire from the Manchester's union leader, which has in the past meant something. It's a very coveted endorsement on the Republican side. But when I pressed Christie about what the polls say, he had an interesting comeback, and that prompted a note from PJ. And PJ says Christie was right when he said there are no voters yet. The press continually changed those polled to voters or Republicans think, said, want. You also take something one candidate said and attribute it to, quote, Republicans. What happened to naming your source? When the source is a poll, don't report voters. That is not the same thing. When a candidate makes a statement, don't change it to they/Republicans/voters. As to Trump, Fox has covered him to the point of the ridiculous. Makes himself available? Are you saying other candidates don't make themselves available? Bull. Well, actually, it's not bull. And let me explain on this point. I have invited all of the candidates to appear on Mediabuzz. And it has taken me months to get some of them. It took me a long time to get Governor Christie. It took me a long time to get Marco Rubio. Some of this is scheduling. They're busy. There are lots of other shows. I get all that. But there are some, like Jeb Bush, who I had a pleasant encounter with at the Fox Business Debate in Milwaukee, who still have not come on my program. And I'm not making this about me. Jeb Bush stayed off television for a period of 2 or 3 months while Donald Trump was on every hour. Some of these other candidates are very selective in when they choose to appear on TV and which shows they choose to appear on. My point is, one of the reasons that Trump gets so much coverage, and sure, we cover him a lot because he's newsworthy, he's controversial, he's good for ratings, clicks, circulation. I'll concede that. But he's available. He's been available for me twice, sit-down interviews at Trump Tower, and I hope to sit down with the Donald again. Whereas other people, I have to ask them again and again and again and again to try to get their candidate a good chunk of airtime with the Fox audience to make their points and talk about their political policies and as well as how the media are covering them. So it's not bull. Believe me, I deal with this every single week. Love to get Senator Cruz back, for example. I had him once early in the campaign. As far as Governor Christie, it is true. There is a tendency, and I always try to identify when we're talking about polls, but there is a tendency to say, well, Republicans think this or Republicans think that because of a bunch of polls which may capture a snapshot of how the people who are polled think, and not every poll is 100% accurate, and there's a wide variation and a margin of error. But Christie was right. Nobody has voted yet, and we all have to keep in mind that we're still a couple of months away from Iowa and New Hampshire. Things can change 15 times, and so Christie, says, "Look, I have a lot of ground to make up against people like Donald Trump and Ben Carson and Ted Cruz, who are at the top tier in the polling. But at the same time, he hasn't lost a single vote yet. He's right about that."